Hey, this is Josh Holyfield. Welcome back to another episode of the Josh Holyfield Podcast. I'm sick as fuck, if you guys can't already tell in the sound of my voice. And I am also in a place where it seems that my facial hair is becoming less and less, right? So at first we just did the trim. Now we're going all the way down with just the mustache, and I'm all for it. So let me show you guys real quick. I think I got some photos of my father, my late father, with his mustache around the age that I am right now. And I was looking at him yesterday, and I couldn't help but smile looking over these photos of my dad and my sister. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you should be able to see this right here on Facebook. And then on Instagram, so that's my dad and my little sister. And then there's another older one from probably this is around the time he was 35 or so. So pretty cool. I'm rocking the mustache, loving it. We're going to run with this for a little while. All right. So like I said, I'm sick. I'm not feeling well. I'm trying to do my best to stay present for my businesses and all my staff and my team, as well as today was also my youngest son, Jackson. Today was his birthday. So he turned 3 today. And he's really excited. He got all kinds of Super Mario stuff that he's really into right now. And so that's pretty cool. So I have a very important and a very emotional story to tell you guys tonight. Okay, it's going to be an emotional story. And I've talked a little bit about this in the past and had in more recent months had actual content where I discuss some of the context of the story here. But this story that I'm telling has come to its end. And it's come to a very sad, depressing end. All right, so I'm probably just going to get into it. This podcast is going to be as long as or short as I feel like I need to really get the message across here for you men. There are some very important key takeaways that I want you to gather from what I'm about to share with you tonight. Okay, this is very serious. This is important. Probably this is my calling. This is why I'm here. I want you guys to understand that. The things that I'm going to be talking about tonight is the culmination of why God has brought me here to do what I do with everything that we're doing. As far as the Iron Forge is concerned, about the men's coaching, the impact that we're already creating in the lives of men, and all of that stuff, okay? And I want you guys to understand, and hopefully by the end of the story tonight, you understand why I take what I do so fucking seriously. All right. So I know I'm losing my voice. I'm very sick. I've got this nasty cold, but I'm here tonight with you guys because this is really important and I want to be able to share this with you. Okay. About 5 months ago, I had a friend of mine who had been part of our community for quite some time approach me. His name is Beau. Okay. And Beau came forward to me and basically said that he was going through some very difficult times in his personal life, and he was ready to hire me to work with him one-on-one for 6 months. Okay, this is a huge commitment. It's a very large financial commitment. This isn't something that's cheap. Okay, for context, something like this is thousands of dollars that I charge to work with me for that period of time. He paid in full. We got him moving with the coaching. Okay, this is a massive commitment that he made. I want to make sure you guys understand. This isn't just like I messaged this guy on Instagram and said I was looking for help. No, like this guy put a significant amount of financial resources towards getting help. Okay. He asked for help. He was seeking help. And he was taking the steps that were necessary to make the changes in his life that he needed to make so that he could overcome some of these challenges and these demons he was facing. Okay. And he hired me to do it. He hired me to help him through that. And so he confided in me. And he'd basically been married for well over 15, pushing 20 years, and had found out that within the last few months, his wife had been cheating, okay? Not only has she been cheating, but they live in a very small town. It's a football community in southern Arizona, and everybody knows everybody, okay? And everybody knew what was happening. And so not only did he have to go through the betrayal and the heartbreak and all the pain and challenges that came with his wife doing what she did and then going through that divorce, but he also had to go through that while everybody around him knew what was happening and what happened and what was going on. His kids knew, well, at least his oldest son knew, and it was something that he was having to basically walk around with his fucking chin held high knowing that he did nothing wrong, that she was the one who did what she did, okay? He hired me to basically help him reclaim himself after a 16, 17-year marriage of doing everything right. Everything right. This dude did everything right. He was a devoted husband, provided for his family, built a business. When that failed, he pursued a career, became a partner in one of the biggest construction developers in the country. Like, he's providing a life for his family, put his wife through school so that she could pursue her goals, and supported her through that, okay? He was a coach for the local football team. He was a coach for the local wrestling team. He's involved in the community, contributed everywhere he could. He was a philanthropist, donated, provided uniforms to the football and wrestling teams, donated his time as a volunteer to be a coach, consistent, showing up as a leader and as an example for his children, and doing everything he could possibly think to do to make sure that he was showing up and keeping his wife happy. Beau was given the Kool-Aid. He was told all you have to do is keep her happy, give her what she wants, build her a life, go out of your way to make sure that they get everything that they could ever possibly want. And nobody in his family, either of his sons or his wife, had any idea of the concept of the word need, because they had everything. He was present for them in every fucking way. This dude was a role model of a man, the type of guy that you look to and you want to be like him. He was in shape. He's good looking. He takes care of himself. He gets to the gym. He boxes. He does martial arts. He coaches the teams. He makes multiple probably 7 figures a year. Literally the fucking epitome of the American dream of what every man in the country would possibly want to become. That was Beau. He was a phenomenal man, incredible man. And what did he get in return? What did he get in return? His wife turned her back and fucked the football coach because she was bored, because she fucking deprecated him and pushed him down and took advantage of him until he had nothing left of himself. If you guys have read Richard Cooper's book, The Unplugged Alpha, there's a part where he talks about how a woman will turn you into a beta through 1,000 cuts or concessions. What is it called? What does he say in there? It's an entire chapter where he talks about it. The video is actually, he has a video on YouTube where he talks about it. Betadization by 1,000 concessions, which is basically the concept of where a man starts as an alpha in a relationship, and over time, to appease and please and give his wife what she wants, he offers concessions, or another word for that is he compromises his values, his boundaries, compromises his dignity. And he does things that he wouldn't have normally done because he's told and taught by society that it's his responsibility to take care of that woman and keep her happy and give her what she wants and treat her like a queen and raise her up and put her on a pedestal. And she's not accountable. It's your fault. The wife can't be wrong. This is the society that we live in. Excuse me. And so when he came to me, he hired me to be his coach. It was hard. But it took us almost a month just to get him to start getting back into the gym consistently, taking care of his nutrition, eating right, being consistent with showing up for himself, reading. He would disappear on me for weeks at a time, and I'd be in his fucking inbox every day, bro, like, hey, you need to fucking reply to me, dude. It was the hardest client I've ever had. And if you guys know me, I'm not the type of person to babysit people like that. But I knew he needed me, and I was there, and I pushed, and I pushed, and I finally got him to a point where I was almost certain he was on the other side of it. He started dating, started to get himself out there. He started to feel confident again. He started to feel good about himself again. He started to lose weight, started looking good and getting his old body back. By the time, within the last few months, or last week or two, I think the last conversation we had, he had lost 40 pounds. He looked phenomenal. The best he's looked in years. He's taking care of himself, on track with his nutrition. Performance in the workplace has increased. I felt like we had gotten to the other side of it until our check-in 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it was 3 weeks ago. We get on the phone during our call, and he starts telling me about how his ex-wife is trying to have all these conversations, asking about how They need to reconsider what they are, and inviting him to family dinners and using his sons against him and trying to manipulate him and get her fucking hooks back into him because she sees that after she did what she did to completely fucking shatter the dude's heart and he finally got over it and got past it, she was losing control of him and no longer had him. And she wanted that guy back. And him and I, we talked about it countless times, bro. Like, this is her punishment for betraying you, for cheating on you, for going behind your back and doing what she did. She now has to watch you fucking win for the rest of your life and live with that regret of knowing that she did what she did. And now she can never have you. That's her punishment. That's the cross that that woman has to carry for the rest of her life because of the decision that she made to betray her husband. And you cannot falter. You need to draw your boundary, because the second you compromise that boundary, it also comes with compromising the respect that she has regained for you. Okay, this is the important part for you guys to understand. If you're going through this right now where your ex cheated on you, or you're in a situation where she cheated on you, and you went off and fucking went into monk mode and leveled the fuck up and got in shape and started taking care of yourself and made yourself a priority and did the things that you needed to do to get right, and then after the fact she came back and tried to get with you, if you let her back in, that comes at the cost of her now knowing that she still has control over you, the same control that she had over you before she cheated, which ultimately led to her losing the respect that she once had for you. She will never respect you again if you take her back after she did that. Understand that, gentlemen. You can't let her back. I don't care what the circumstance is. If you leave, you can never let her back. How do I know? Because I thought I could do the same thing with my ex-wife, and it resulted in another kid and another fucking 6 years of pain, only to have her do it again. Okay? So I'm speaking from experience here, gentlemen. So him and I, we had this conversation ad nauseum. You cannot take her back. She was relentless, constantly texting him, calling him, you name it. Probably one of the most challenging things that I've had to deal with in terms of clients, because he knew it was right. But the one thing that you guys will understand if you've been through this, and I know I've been through it, is it doesn't matter how much she's hurt you, you'll always love her. Like, my ex-wife fucking shattered me over the years that we were together, like shattered me. My heart was fucking broken, and I've had it happen to me a multitude of times. Okay, like, that's not the first time. Every woman I've been with has done that. But my ex-wife is the one who really puts the fucking icing on the cake in terms of shattering my heart, because she had me convinced that it was my fault and that I was delusional. Like, it was crazy. Like, I wanted to believe her lies were true, because it was easier if they were true than if I had to face the change that came with holding her accountable to that behavior. And this is the same thing that Beau went through. It's easier. It's easier to set those feelings aside, let her back in so that you can have your family back. That's all you want. That's all you ever wanted, was just to have your fucking family. You worked so hard to build. I know for me, that's all I ever wanted back. I just wanted my family. And dealing with the pain of losing my kids and my family and everything that I worked so hard to build it drove me to attempt suicide more than once. And if you've read my book, I talked about the situations that I had been through where I dealt with that. There was a point in time going through that experience with my ex cheating on me that they found me with a running car inside of the fucking garage, drunk, passed out on the fucking floor. And I was involuntarily committed to a fucking mental hospital. And my carbon monoxide levels were like fucking 80 times what they should have been. And they put me on bipolar medication and decided that they were going to try to fucking basically, numb me and send me on my fucking way. I was on such a high dose of Seroquel that all I did was fucking sleep, okay? I've been there, bro. I know how fucking hard it is to deal with the struggle of having a woman do that to you, and struggle with losing the fear of losing everything when it comes to your family. And this is where Beau was. It takes everything to fucking keep your shit together when you're in that situation, dude. I thought that we had gotten on the other side of everything. And I'd finally gotten Beau to a place where he could see the light on the other side of the hill. And he was finally going to come to a place where he realized that the new life that he was building and the new man that he was becoming was exactly who he was called to become so that he could be the leader his sons deserved. So they could see the importance of building a frame and standing firmly in that frame, creating your boundaries for women and expecting a certain degree of respect and standing in a place of integrity with your values as a man and never compromising those things. That's what our young men need to be taught by us men who are as an example. These young men need to be taught that the only power that you give a woman over your life is what you give her. The only power she has over you is what you allow her to have. A woman's primary goal is to achieve mastery over her man, and you can never, ever fucking give it to her. Because once she knows that she has that mastery over you, you've lost. You no longer have control over your own life and your outcomes, what you do or what you don't do, because she now has the ability to manipulate you to her will. And her actions are driven based upon how she feels in that moment, which means that now your actions are driven by how she feels in that moment, not based upon what's needed. As a man, it's your responsibility to lead from a place of stoicism, integrity with your values, without allowing emotions or manipulations to influence the decisions that you make. That's why you are a fucking king, period. And the second that she knows she's achieved mastery over you, you no longer have that integrity of your values. She now has control over you, whether you want to fucking admit it or not, and it's a hard pill to swallow. You cannot give that to her ever. The only time she should feel like she has that mastery is in private in the bedroom, where you give her a piece of it. You give her a taste of what it feels like, and then you take it back. And if you guys don't believe me, there's an entire chapter in David Dita's book that talks about this, titled The Way of the Superior Man. Okay, so I'm not just like making this shit up. You have to keep that back. And young men aren't being taught that. Young men are being taught that they need to fucking do what she says, make her happy, serve her, fucking bow at her feet and give her whatever the fuck she wants. And it's created this generation of entitled fucking narcissists who have zero accountability whatsoever over their actions or their behavior. And the second you as a man make the decision that you want to hold them accountable, you're the fucking asshole, because there's always going to be another fucking simp on the other side of the green grass who's willing to fucking do exactly what she wants just so he can get a taste of her pussy. That's a fact. So you be the asshole. You need to be okay being the asshole. Never compromise your boundaries or your values as men, ever, under any circumstance. You should stand and fight and be willing to fucking die on that hill. And the interesting thing about it is if you do that, she'll respect you more, and that's what keeps her loyal. Trust me when I tell you, and this is the lesson that I learned, the lesson that Beau learned, the lesson that any man who's had his heart broken will learn, is that you doing what she wants and giving her what she wants and quote unquote making her happy is not going to keep her loyal to you. It's not. It won't ever. If that's the way that you live, she will only take more and more until you have nothing left to give. She will chew you up and spit you the fuck out with no remorse. And it's going to be a painful, hard pill to swallow that most men today have to go through before they wake the fuck up and realize that in order for them to be men, they have to first build a frame and stand firmly in that frame. That's how you keep her, is by giving her boundaries, holding her accountable to those boundaries. And if she doesn't want to respect them, showing her the fucking door. Those are the lessons that our sons need to be taught. Those are the lessons that Beau was in the process of trying to teach his sons. I could tell over the past couple weeks that Beau was having a really hard time. He'd been missing his check-ins. He'd been late for his check-ins, rescheduling his check-ins. You typically meet once a week and talk at least 3 or 4 times a week via text. And if I don't hear from him, typically I'll check in with him to make sure he's okay. I hadn't heard from him since last week. And on Sunday, I was sitting at my computer and I saw this really good photo of Beau. And I was like, oh shit, our call is tonight. It's on Facebook. I clicked on his profile and I start looking and it's all the same photo that's posted on his wall. Let's post this for Beau. Let's post this for Beau. And then I keep going down and I go down 5 or 6 posts. And there's a post that talks about how it's so important to make sure you check on your buddies and that we don't take men's mental health serious enough. And then there's another post from his ex-wife with a photo of her and his sons showing a memorial that they built for him off somewhere in the hills or mountains in Arizona. And I started looking and doing the investigation and putting the pieces together. And sure enough, last Thursday, Beau got into an argument with his ex-wife. And immediately after the call, went to his apartment and took his own life. Shot himself in the face. Okay. Beau's no longer here with us. I sat here at my desk right where I'm sitting right now when I made the stark realization that one of my friends and my client, the guy who I was the confidant for, somebody I'd grown very close with, had taken his own life. And I was thinking about it more and more. And by the time I had found out, he had already been dead for 4 days. Nobody reached out to me, so I had no idea. I was looking forward to our call. Unfortunately, he never showed up. I'll never see or talk to him again. His sons will never see or talk to him again. But you bet your fucking britches, you go over to his ex-wife's Facebook profile, and there's not an ounce of remorse or guilt. It's her fault he's dead. This man did everything right. He did everything right. He did exactly what the world tells us that men are supposed to do, what society conditions us as men, tells us what we're supposed to do. He does it. He did it. Everything. He was that guy. And in exchange for that, what did he get? He lost everything. And so if you're a man and you're listening to this, trust me when I tell you this, okay? 2 things. The first, I know what it's like. If this is something you've gone through and you're a place where you're considering suicide, I know what it's like. I've been exactly where Beau was. More than once. Okay. I know what it's like. And here's what I'm going to tell you, man, is what you're going through. The reason you're going through this is because God is giving you the strength that you need to become the example and the leader that other men need. Had I not gone through what Beau went through, I would not be in a position right now to be having this conversation with you guys from a place of empathy. Okay? This is hard. Beau was called to be a fucking leader of men. He had a tremendous impact on his local community where he was a coach and a role model and a significant part of the lives of hundreds of young men. And Beau was in a place where he, given this lesson, would have the ability to teach these young men the skills and the knowledge that they needed so that they didn't have to go through what he did. He couldn't carry the cross. It's a heavy burden to carry. I know. Excuse me again. Like I said, I'm very sick today. I'm here because I want to share this message with you guys tonight. If you're where Beau is, or Beau was, I want you gentlemen to know that I know it's fucking hard, but this is what God has called you to become. You have to be a warrior. And in order to go through that, become the warrior he needs, the warrior other men need, you have to go through the pain and be tempered. And it's hard. It's painful. But don't take your own life, brother. Don't do it. I'm begging you, don't do it. There was a quote that I left on his Facebook wall. I went over there and I was looking, and obviously the ex-wife is soaking up all the fucking attention that she could possibly get. Oh, woe me. My life is so hard. I miss my husband. Meanwhile, she's still fucking the football coach. But we're not going to fucking put too much into that. I posted on there, and I said something interesting that I want you guys to spend time thinking about. People talk about making men's mental health a priority until it means holding women accountable. I see this shit every fucking day. Every day I see men like Beau having their lives completely ripped out from underneath them, their hearts fucking pulled from their chest, stomped on, and lose everything because the woman that they decided that they dedicated their entire life to decided that she was fucking bored and wanted to fuck the pool boy. Okay? This is so much more common than you guys believe. I've seen this shit. It happens every fucking day. If you spend any time in the military, this shit happens every day. Part of becoming a non-commissioned officer means that you need to be able to counsel soldiers or Marines or airmen or sailors through the process of how to handle themselves when their wife fucking cheats and leaves you. That's how common it is. If they say you can't make E7 without having at least one divorce under your belt as a fucking being in the military, that's how common it is to see men like this, great men like this, having their fucking hearts ripped out by women who are narcissists, and they suffer zero fucking accountability. They take their kids, they take their house, they take their money, or they're left with nothing. And all the man wants to do is what's right. So he gives her whatever she wants. And what is he left with? The fucking stark reality that he has now become a walking ATM machine for as long as it takes until his children turn 18, with no more control or impact on the lives of his own children. And he now has to sit by and watch idly as another fucking cuck who's going to be taken advantage by that woman in the same way raises his fucking children. And the cycle repeats itself in perpetuity because our society has zero fucking accountability whatsoever over the women who stomp around people's lives and fucking shatter them. I'm here to tell you, gentlemen, and I'm very fucking angry dealing with listening to this and going through this with him and experiencing this, losing a close friend of mine, this is exactly why it's so important, gentlemen. It's imperative, gentlemen. This is a non-fucking negotiable, gentlemen, that you are ruthless about putting yourself first and putting yourself into a position as a man where you don't need a motherfucker. It doesn't matter who it is. You don't need her. You don't need your boss. You don't need the government. You don't need a motherfucker. You've become so fucking excellent in every way that you literally wake up and piss excellence. You're jacked, you're healthy, you're competent, you're capable, you're strong, you're financially independent, you have your fucking shit together, you have your business. You've built your frame to a point where it cannot be fucking broken. It cannot be pushed. It can weather any storm. You stand in a fucking place so firmly in your values with integrity that not a motherfucker can even consider coming into your space and fucking with it. That's your job as a man first, okay? Until you can accomplish what I just described, where you become so firm in your frame as a man that not a motherfucker can fuck with you and you don't need them. Then you can start talking about bringing a family. Then you can start talking about having children, getting married, having kids, inviting a woman into your life, right? This is the goal. You cannot be the best father that you can possibly be until you first learn to become the best man that you can be. You cannot be the best husband that you could possibly be without first becoming the best man that you can be. You cannot be the best protector. You cannot be the best provider. You cannot be the best business owner, okay? You first have to build the frame. And I'm telling you from firsthand experience, this is what happened with me, this is what happened with Beau, and this is what happened with most of my clients by the thousands. The reason why you're struggling is because you're trying to build the fucking plane while you're flying it. You need to first become a competent and capable man who understands what he stands for and has the ability and the willingness to stand in a place of integrity with what he stands for through his beliefs and his system of values. You need to create your relationship with God, whatever that fucking means for you, and stand firm and secure in your spiritual relationship with him. You need to create and pursue your purpose as a man. How are you going to serve the world in a way that earns you a living? Okay? You need to build your frame. You need to be unfuckwithable as a man, competent, strong, capable. If you're a fat fuck, you have no business raising boys, period. If you're a fat ass, you have no business setting an example for what a young girl should aspire to marry one day. You need to be strong, fit, capable of violence. You need to be a protector. No one teaches us this shit anymore as men. So what happens is we grow up and we skip that step of becoming a man. And I'm 18 now, so I can become a man. And we go off and we make all these stupid fucking mistakes. We go put our dick in stupid, try to do the right thing, which is basically whatever these women tell us a good man is, only to have our fucking heart completely ripped out and shattered 5 to 10 years later and wonder what we did wrong. I'm teaching you, become a man first. And that should always be your utmost number one fucking priority, is to be a good man. What is a good man, you ask? It's not what they say it is. It's what you believe it is here. And your willingness to stand in integrity in a place of fucking honor by that. Being a man means that you don't do what you feel, you do what you must. And you're willing to fight and die on the hill of your values, protecting your liberties under any cost. Where in modern society do you hear men talking about that fucking message? The only one that I've recently heard about is Andrew Tate, who was censored, and Donald Trump, who was also censored. Why is that, gentlemen? Why do you think it is that every time we have somebody come forward to try to teach us men how to take our power back, they get shut down and silenced? It's not a coincidence. If you control the men, you control the society. The only power these women have over you is what you give them. You have to be that layer of accountability for her. And if she's not willing to be held accountable, then you show her the fucking door. Period. You're held accountable. You as a man are held accountable for everything you do in every way. There's no breaks for you. You don't get a free pass. Your value is dictated based upon one thing, and that's what you can provide. And if you're unable to provide as a man, then you are of no use to anyone. You don't get respect. You don't even get the fucking courtesy. So if you're going to be expected to come into the life of another person and provide for them and protect them and serve as that man, as that leader, then it needs to come with conditions. I'm going to be honest with you guys, and this is not a story that I've ever told you guys publicly, okay? I'm going to share with you something very fucking important. I'm on my second marriage, all right? Obviously, you guys know the story about my first marriage. My ex-wife, I was a fucking beta. She cheated. Moving on, okay? This one, we've been together since 2017. She's the type of woman who's never been told no, has been literally the same type of women that most of us deal with, where they're not taught accountability, being responsible for your actions, being held to a standard or expected to show up a certain way, or whatever the case may be. Last year, it got to the point where I said, if you can't fucking do this, here's the door. We split. I moved on. I moved out. I left. I was done. So I'm not fucking making this shit up. Okay? Like, this isn't me just talking out of my ass telling you guys that you need, like, everything that I tell you guys on these podcasts, and I spend my time sharing these stories with you and investing my time to fucking help you. I'm telling you from firsthand personal experience so that I can help you. Okay? So that I can help you. My friend took his own life. At the end of the day, it was his choice. I agree. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you right now, the way that our society is set up, the people who contributed to that won't even carry guilt, let alone be held accountable. And now his legacy is destroyed because his ex-wife is going to fucking, just like she's already done, paint herself as the victim. So this is a very emotional evening for me. This has been a tough week, guys. Me personally, I feel like I failed him. There's more that I could have done. But it's interesting. I'm looking at his Facebook profile right now, and his bio, there's a quote. And I think it's profound and ironic that he has this in his bio on his Facebook, which has been there for years because I've known him for that long. It says, quote, "Fools multiply when wise men are silent." Fools multiply when wise men are silent. If you're a client of mine, if you're a customer of mine, if you're a friend of mine, which I have very few, you have a responsibility to take all of the things that I've taught you, that I've had to learn the hard way, and go teach those lessons to other men. You're still learning. I get it. A lot of us are. I'm still learning. You have an obligation. This is not negotiable. The things that I just taught tonight and the things that I've taught you throughout our coaching, because I've got a lot of people who watch these videos and listen to these podcasts. I know for a fact that every single one of you guys who's listening to this has either been through what I'm talking about, seen somebody go through what I'm talking about, or is currently going through what I'm talking about. And most of the things that I talk about on these podcasts, you can relate to in some way. I don't care if you fucking copy and paste my message and go record a video and put it on your page. I don't care how you do it, okay? Share the message, teach, provide value, go into the world and create impact. Stop being silent. The only reason our society has fallen and is crumbling and is going to the place that it is right now is because strong, good men of integrity have stayed silent. And we sat by idly and watched as the fucking world around us has crumbled. The moral fiber has crumbled. In our society, God has been removed and not done anything about it because we didn't want to make waves or create drama. And now look, I'm in a situation where I have to stand guard at the women's bathroom door when my daughters and my wife go in there to make sure that some fucking mentally ill sicko doesn't try to go in there with his fucking pecker tucked between his thighs wearing a wig. That's the world we live in. And I'm the asshole for doing it. You want to fucking make a difference and make a change in the world? You want to see a change? You want to stop dealing with this fucking bullshit that we're seeing? Stand up. The world needs leaders. The world needs men to fucking get their backbones and be willing to put their dick on the table. Period. If you're not willing to put your fucking dick on the chopping block and stand for what I'm talking about here and start holding the world accountable and start standing in integrity and start leading as a fucking example, then get the fuck off my page. Don't follow me. Don't even share my shit. Don't wear my shirts. Don't fucking pretend that you're this when you're not. Because there's too many great men like Beau who we're losing because we have a world full of fucking fake betas. And I apologize. I'm angry. This situation makes me very upset. It's very emotional for me to deal with this, going through this situation, because again, we have thousands of success stories. A lot of the guys in the chat on Facebook and YouTube are clients who we've literally seen their lives turn around since starting with us. I have messages from wives thanking us for saving their husbands, saving their marriage. Messages from daughters and sons thanking us for giving us their father back. Messages from the fucking clients themselves saying that, thanking us for telling us we saved their life. Like, we take this work very seriously, me and my coaching staff. And that's the exact conversation that I had is, this is serious. We take this very serious. But right now there's only 5 of us. And so far we've coached thousands. The next step for you is to start evangelizing the message of integrity and standing up as men and leading. And it makes me angry to see that it goes this far, that it requires the loss of such an incredible man to give people the fucking wake-up call that they need. Because I've been talking about this message for years, gentlemen. Like, all the things that I said on this podcast tonight, none of it's new. I've said this shit repeatedly for years. Every fucking week I get on here with you guys. And here you are still trying to figure out how to stay fucking motivated? You need to look deeper, gentlemen. It's about a lot more than fucking going into a gym, my guy. That's like fucking step 1.1b. If you're in a place where you can't even get into a fucking gym, how can anybody count on you? And then we wonder why Fucking schools are getting shot up. The men in our society don't even have the fucking balls to get up and go to the gym, let alone protect their fucking children. Just imagine a world where all of the men were fucking competent and capable and strong and leaders and did what was right. We wouldn't even have problems with fucking participation trophy generation getting their feelings hurt and shooting up a fucking school every time they don't get their way. Because those are the same kids who would have gotten their fucking asses beat at home when they didn't fucking listen to mommy. And if they decided that they were going to do something stupid, every motherfucking dude with a swinging cock between his thighs in that school would be trained and capable with a fucking firearm to blow that fucking asshole away before it was even an issue. And because all of the men are capable, all of the men are competent, all of the men are armed, all of the men are doing the things that they should be doing, even if there was an anomaly, even if there was a situation where some dickhead decided he wanted to be the fucking 1 in a million chance, he wouldn't even have the fucking opportunity to, because it would happen so fucking fast. But nobody wants to talk about that. We're sitting here running in circles about whether or not guns are the fucking problem. Bro, you know what the fucking problem is? I want to know, if you go back into all the fucking schools that have been shot up, how many men were there? Male teachers or faculty members or employees in that school. Why is it that not a single one of those men were capable of defending the fucking young children that they promised they would keep safe? I carry a gun everywhere I go. Why? Because I'd rather need one and have it than not have it. Period. I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Period. That's why I carry a gun everywhere I go. My wife carries a gun everywhere she goes for the same reason. I've taught her how to use it, and that's how we operate. Because the last thing that we're going to do is sit around and allow ourselves to be fucking victims. And so if you're a man and you're listening to this, why is it that you're allowing yourself, you need to ask yourself, why is it that you're allowing yourself to sit around and become a victim? If you don't have your shit together, you're not fully fucking self-sufficient, living in your purpose, built your frame, standing in integrity, and doing what you should be doing as a man, then all you're fucking doing is sitting around and waiting for a woman to turn you into a fucking victim. You've given her all of the power, and you're just waiting, hoping that she doesn't fuck you. If you don't know how to handle a firearm, now all you're doing is just waiting around, hoping that if in the event that there is a mass shooting, that another man has a firearm and knows how to use it. That's not a fucking strategy that I want to fucking follow. I don't leave anything to hope, okay? If I have a fucking malfunction in my firearm, guess what? Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. That's exactly why we have that. Close quarters combat, exactly why we have that. These are the things that we're doing as men to make ourselves competent, capable, strong leaders. We lead by example. I don't have time. Well, you make the time, okay? Your fucking entire existence is not supposed to revolve around you making a fucking fortune for some dickhead who owns the company you work for, okay? Your purpose as a man is about a lot more than going and earning a fucking paycheck. It's about your legacy. And if you have children, especially sons, you know that your legacy is about passing your knowledge so that those young men can be better than you. So what that means is until you pass the torch, your responsibility is to become the fucking best version of yourself that you possibly can, so that then when they take the torch, they can take it even further. Fucking sitting around watching your fucking kids do better than you. You should be at the front of the pack. It sickens me. Victims of fucking society full of victims. Weak men, betas, playing alpha, pretending like they're fucking Spartans because they go into a gym and pose in a fucking mirror. You're all fucking pussies, dude. Look, man, I don't mean to get fired up and fucking throw insults at people, and I apologize, but these problems wouldn't fucking exist if we as men would just stand the fuck up. None of them. 100% of the problems that exist in society today stem from the fact that men lack integrity. I hope that the lesson that you learn from tonight's conversation of learning about Beau's story and what ultimately led to him taking his own life, is you have to be ruthless about becoming the absolute best fucking man that you can possibly become first. First. Not second, not third, not before your job, not before your wife, not before your kids. First. And a lot of you Christians will come at me and say, well, actually, it's God first, because I know there's always that fucking idiot. That includes creating your relationship with God, becoming the best version of yourself. Whoever your God is comes first. Then you can invite a woman into your life. Then you can invite children into your life. Then you can go volunteer your time and give back to the community and become a philanthropist and do all the things just like Beau did. But if you don't take care of yourself first, I promise you, no one will. No one will ever put your needs before their own. Ever. And if you let the world, it will chew you up and fucking spit you out and won't even think twice about you. With that said, I appreciate everybody's comments in here. Cody, Dom, Mondo, Russell, Chad, Dave. Shane Goodman said I look like a Jack Tom Selleck with the mustache. I hope this was valuable for you guys. I know I got a little bit passionate, and I'm sure it was probably kind of hard to hear me because my voice. Either way, I'll be back here Thursday for our Iron Forge group coaching. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with me tonight.